It's 2024, and if you haven't seen already, everybody and their mama got a clothing brand. But not only that, everybody and their mama is trying to teach y'all how to start a clothing brand, and they not even getting sales with their own brand. Well, me personally, I scaled my brand to 7 figures in only 11 months. And I'm here to show y'all how to actually start a clothing brand in 2024. In this video, I'm gonna be going over all the exact high-level strategies that I'm running with my clothing brand, and not just that little basic stuff that they showing y'all on Instagram and TikTok, showing y'all to go get a logo made and use ChatGPT for your name and all that basic stuff that you already knowing. You want to know how to actually make real money and the stuff that they gatekeeping, they want to make y'all pay to see, but I'm giving it away 100% completely for free today. And you might be watching this video wondering if my credentials are even real. Well, my brand is Euphoric.777, and if you don't know my brand, you at least seen one of my hoodies before, and I'm already knowing it. And on top of that, I've already helped hundreds of people start and scale their clothing brand to multiple 5 figures per month. So if you want to be added to that list of people, I suggest you watch this video all the way. Now, don't get me wrong, the video gonna probably be about 20 minutes long, but sometimes you got to get rid of the little TikTok mouse brain attention span to lock in on something if you're really ready to change your life. So if you don't think you can sit down and watch a 20-minute video that's going to elevate your life, help you lead a job you hate, and provide a better future for you and your family, then you're not my target audience anyways. You might as well click off right now, because I'm about to be spilling real sauce soon. Now, the first thing I'm gonna let y'all know, and it might sound a little cliche, you probably heard it 100 times, but you got to lock in with your mindset before you get into this clothing brand stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, everybody usually money motivated, but money cannot be the only thing that's motivating you to start your brand, or else you is not gonna succeed. Because trust me, you're gonna have hard times when starting your clothing brand. Now, me personally, I probably got off to the quickest start out of everybody. I got to 100K months within my second month of running my brand, and I still had crazy amounts of stress and times I wanted to quit, and I was making 100K a month already. So imagine you only making $300 a month with your brand and you 6 months in. Bro, you're gonna be ready to quit if the only thing motivating you is money. But if you guys have a real passion for starting a brand or a passion for fashion and spreading your message through clothes, then trust me, you're gonna be locked in no matter what the money's saying. And those people who don't care about none of that, and you is 100% money motivated, then you at least have to be fully locked in on not only making money for yourself, but looking for the people you can provide for as well. So when you feel like quitting, you're not only looking in the mirror at yourself, you're looking at your family that you don't want to let down. Because if you want to be 100% honest with you, a clothing brand is not the easiest way to make money. There's tons of ways to make money online. Go watch you an Iman Ghazi video or something that's gonna show you how to make some money. But the clothing brand, in my opinion, is the most fun way to make some money, especially if you like clothes, you like getting your name out there. Because I'm not gonna lie, having a clothing brand that's successful, you about living like a rapper. I'm not even over exaggerating. We travel everywhere, we get to spend money, write everything off, do crazy photo shoots with the brand, and everybody knows our brand and knows who we are. Now, this is step number 2 of starting your clothing brand, and it's probably the most important step right here, so make sure you locked in for this. And what I'm about to go over is market research, and this is very important before you start your clothing brand, because you want to know the exact niche that you want your brand to be in. You don't want to be out here just freely making clothes, because trust me, it's going to be a lot harder to stand out with no niche, because you're going to be competing against a way bigger audience of people who also out here just making clothes with no niche. That's usually what people do. Now, what you really want to do is use social media to your advantage. Go on Instagram, go on TikTok, and see what a lot of people in the fashion industry are having problems with, and find a way you can fit that need. For example, let's say a lot of people with longer legs are having problems finding jeans that fit them, or finding nice jeans that fit them at least. Then you can make a jean brand that fits only people with longer legs and is designed completely for them. Now, that's just an example. Don't start that business and don't put in no work to it and get mad at me when it don't work. That's just an example I'm using. But the benefit of having a niche for your clothing brand is that you have a direct target audience to market to, which is going to help you when you're making your ads, you're making your content, you're finding influencers. Because if you have no target audience, how do you know the perfect influencer for your brand? How do you even know what to say in your ads? How do you even know what designs people actually want to buy? Because trust me, I'm not going to market to a group of 18-year-olds the same way I would market to somebody 40-year-old mama trying to sell a Christian tee to them. Another platform you can use is called Reddit. In the main community we use there is called Streetwear Startups, just to kind of see a lot of problems that people were having in the clothing brand industry and find ways that we can do things different with our brand. This is also a good place to send your designs and mock-ups to when you want to just get some quick and honest feedback. Trust me, it's going to be 100% honest if you send it in Reddit. If that design is terrible, they're going to let you know. You're going to about be ready to quit your brand for real if you don't got no motivation behind it, because they're going to really let you know how bad your design and mock-ups are. But honestly, when starting your clothing brand, that's what you need in your life. You don't just want a lot of yes men around you telling you all your designs fire, everything you do hard, and then you drop and nobody even buy from you. Because I know we all had that feeling when we post a little design on our story, everybody DMing us, bro, let me know when you drop, I'm a cop. And then nobody even cop on drop that. You got 5 visitors on your website and 0 sales. So just keep in mind, when starting a clothing brand, strangers are going to support you more than anybody. Because when I first started my brand, I went completely online first. I didn't even start locally because the growth would have been too slow, because a lot of people would just hate on you because because you're trying to do better than them. Now, once your brand gets to popping online and everything, that's when a lot of local people gonna start supporting you because they see it already got a buzz and it won't be lame to buy something from you. It's kind of backwards, but that's just how the game goes. Now, once you do your market research and you got that part done, you want to start thinking on the name and the key design for your clothing brand. Now, when first starting out with the design, I honestly like to have a design that has the name in it because that really helps spread your brand awareness. For example, let's say it's 10 people sitting in the room, everybody got on the T of your brand. If they got on 10 different designs of a t-shirt and they all got different names on them, different logos and stuff, they not gonna know that's all your brand. But if them 10 people all got on the same Euphoric t-shirt or the same whatever your brand name is t-shirt, then they gonna be like, bro, Euphoric is popping. I keep seeing that name everywhere. And it really just does the marketing itself. For example, look at Nike. You see those swoosh logos everywhere. You see the little Nike symbol everywhere. And you just know it's Nike every time. And it just seems like their audience is much bigger. Now, if you ask me personally, you're gonna find the best designers on Instagram. So go on there and type in .std and it's gonna show a list of clothing brand designers on there. And once you do this, you also gonna see a list of people selling pre-made designs as well. Bro, please don't buy a pre-made design for your clothing brand. You gonna look like everybody else and you basically just buying your way into failure. Now, what you want to actually do is DM that designer, let them know the vision of your brand, send them a little sketch if you got one of kind of what you want your logo to look like, and also send them some designs from other brands as well that they can use for inspiration. And the main thing I want to let down right now is don't cheap out on a designer, especially a good one that fits your style. If you find a perfect designer fit for you, don't not use them just because they charging $100 instead of the other designer that's charging $50 and they gonna give you a terrible design. Trust me, the design is the main thing of your brand. That's just gonna help you stand out. So this is not a part that you want to cheap out on. You can also use TikTok, go in their search bar and search up clothing brand designers on there and follow people who make designs, kind of see some of their work, see some of the brands they worked with as well. And another thing you gonna see in here in this clothing brand space is a lot of people telling you to make your own designs. I made millions of dollars with my clothing brand and I don't even know how to work Photoshop. So that's telling you right there, you do not need to know how to make designs or make your own designs to be successful with your clothing brand. But what you do need is the mindset to be able to think of creative ways to get your brand out there. So trust me, if you don't have that, you probably gonna struggle a lot with starting a clothing brand. All right, now let's say you got your design finally made. Before you just try to hurry up and get it put on a t-shirt or put on a hoodie, go out to your friends, send them your design, make sure it's your friends that gonna tell you the truth and not your yes man. Post it on your story, everything. Get as many opinions as you can on your design, so then you can see how people are actually feeling about it and you can get some revisions from the designer as well and get it fixed up a little bit. Because trust me, none of our designs have looked right the exact first time we got it back. We always had to make some type of revisions to it, whether it's 2, 3, and sometimes we got even up to 10, 12 revisions on one design before we got it how we wanted it. Once you feel like you finally have the perfect design for your clothing brand, now you want to get the mock-up made for it so you can start sending it out to manufacturers. And basically what a mock-up is just a design put on like a digital hoodie or a digital tee, just so they can see the exact placement and exact size that you want when it's actually printed in real life. Now when looking for a manufacturer, the main debate you're gonna see is China versus Pakistan. Well, in my opinion, China gives you way higher quality for a slightly higher price, and Pakistan, you have a higher chance of getting scammed. The price is gonna be a lot cheaper, don't get me wrong, but the quality usually is a lot lower as well. So when first starting your brand, I would honestly just rock with China just because you have that guarantee of getting your product. Now you may be wondering, where can I find a manufacturer from China? Well, that's where you need to go to Alibaba.com. That's gonna give you the exact resources that you need. And once you go to Alibaba.com, go to that search bar and just type in hoodies, t-shirts, anything that you actually trying to get made. They got somebody that can do it. And you want to look through verified suppliers only because these are going to be the most credible people on the website. Now the main thing I really like to look at about a manufacturer before I start asking questions is their reviews. If they got 3 out of 5 stars, I'm not working with them. I'm not gonna lie. You got to at least have like a 4.5 if I'm gonna be even messaging you. So once you find a verified supplier with at least 4.5 stars, now we can go through our introductory question list. I'll be gonna ask every manufacturer and start really slimming down who we want to work with. Now the main set of questions you want to ask every manufacturer is what's their MOQ, which is their minimum order quantity. So let's say their minimum order quantity is 30. You have to order at least 30 pieces of that hoodie or that t-shirt before you can work with that manufacturer. Now with most manufacturers, you can usually negotiate the MOQ if you need to. So this is not a huge deal with me unless it's just like an extremely high number, like 500 to 1,000 MOQ for that piece. The next thing you want to ask is their complete turnaround time, including production and shipping. Because a lot of times they'll tell you, all right, our turnaround time is 2 weeks, but that's just for production. Then it's gonna take another 30 days for your product product to ship. Make sure you're having production and shipping included when you ask them for their turnaround time on your product. Next, you want to ask them to send you some previous work that they have done, and the main best thing about this is that you can see some of the brands that they worked with in the past, so they're gonna send you their best clients and their best work. That's actually how I found a lot of these big brands manufacturers, just by going to Alibaba.com and asking to see some of their previous client work. Now, the next thing you also want to make sure to include is your hoodie mock-up, and let them know the exact printing style you want and also the exact GSM you want on that item. Now, for just a regular fitting hoodie, you want to be around 350 to 400 GSM, which is kind of like the one I got on now. But some people, they do go higher, such as 500 to 600 GSM, which I feel like is not really necessary because that price spike is gonna be crazy for that. Trust me. You want to also make sure you let them know the material that you want on that hoodie. The best material, in my opinion, is 100% French terry cotton, but you can also get a polyester blend with that French terry cotton if you want to get your product at a lower price from China. And the most important question that you want to ask them is, what is your bulk price per piece? And make sure shipping is included in that bulk price per piece, because a lot of times they'll tell you, all right, it costs us $20 to make you a hoodie, so you start selling them for $40 thinking that you finna pay $20 total each hoodie. But nope, they didn't include shipping. Shipping is $5,000. Now you making no money off that drop, you actually losing it. And when I'm usually asking about bulk price per piece, I ask for a super high bulk just so I can see how low they can really get. So I might ask, what's your bulk price per piece for like 500 pieces? I'm not planning on buying 500 pieces, but now I can see kind of how low they can actually get their price and where they're actually starting from. And the best part about asking these questions when trying to work with a new manufacturer is it makes it look like you actually know what you're talking about and you're not just starting your clothing brand. Because trust me, they are people as well, and they will try to get over on you if you seem like you do not know what you're talking about. Because you go in there and you just send them a picture, how much it costs to make this. They go, oh yeah, he don't know what he's talking about. We finna charge him $500 for a sample for one hoodie. And trust me, you're gonna be ready to pay that as well, because he's gonna think that's normal because you don't know nothing. Now, usually for a sample price for just a regular hoodie, just a regular little screen print or DTG or puff print design, nothing crazy on it, be looking to pay around 80 to 120 for that hoodie, depending on also the material, the size of it, the GSM, and all of that. For the first set of hoodies I ever bought, it was around 350 GSM each. They had a puff print design on the front and back, and we paid about 150 for 2 hoodies. Now you want to reach out to about 5 to 10 manufacturers to kind of compare their answers to each one. There's gonna be some manufacturers you just automatically cut out just because their prices are too high or their shipping is too long. So you probably got like a top 3 to 5 right now. Now what you want to do is get your top 3 manufacturers and order a sample from each one of them so you can compare and see who has the best work. Don't just order one sample from one person, because you're not gonna know if that's the best that you can actually get, and you just taking a risk and putting all your marbles in one bag. Now, before ordering a sample, also make sure that your sample costs can get refunded when you order your bulk in the future from them. So let's say your sample cost is $200, you have a decent drop with your clothing brand in the future, and you're ready to place a bulk order, and your bulk ends up being $1,000. They'll deduct that $200 from that $1,000 that you paid from the sample, and now your total bulk price is only $800. And all my real loyal people who don't got a fried attention span and sat through this part of the video, I'm gonna let y'all know a good manufacturer right now. Here they go right here. Go hit them up and get a sample from them. Trust me, you're gonna like their quality a lot. All right, so I'm gonna let y'all know a couple red flags once you get your samples in. Now, if that manufacturer took forever for your samples, they were slow with communicating, imagine how they gonna treat you when you place your bulk order as well. Cut them off immediately. They not really caring about you. Now, you want to make sure you're examining these samples completely. Make sure each stitching is perfect, none out of line. Throw it in the washer and dryer a couple times. Make sure it comes out looking the exact same, perfect condition. And also make sure that the printing is exactly how you want it and placement is perfect. And you also want to go through the same process as well as posting your samples on your story, especially if you stuck between 2 manufacturers. Post each sample on your story and let your followers pick, or send it to your friends directly and let them pick straight through the text message. Now, me personally, I knew I had a banger with my first t-shirt design because I had just took a picture wearing it, posted on my Instagram story, and everybody was sliding up asking me where I got it from. I didn't even tell them it was my brand or that I was even starting a clothing brand in general. Now, I was getting into the legal part of the business, such as LLCs, EINs, getting your business bank account set up and all of that. And in all honesty, you don't need none of that until you start making real money with your brand and see people actually want to buy what you're selling. We didn't get all of that until we already made $5,000 with our clothing brand, so it's not even worth putting in the time, effort, or money into acquiring all that information if you don't even know if your product can sell yet. Trust me, bro, you do not need to trademark your design if you only made $20 off of it in 3 months. Nobody's trying to steal it. Now let's talk about actually setting up your website for your clothing brand, because that's where you're gonna be selling all your products at online, and that's probably the most important part of all of this. Now, when setting up your website, you're gonna use Shopify, which you probably heard of already because it's the #1 platform for people to build websites and start their e-commerce businesses. Now, the basic Shopify plan is about $30 a month, but I have a link in my description right now that you can get started on Shopify Shopify for only $1. Now, once you get on to Shopify, YouTube is going to be your best friend. Do not buy a theme on there. Get a free theme, then go on YouTube and search up how people are optimizing that theme for sales. Because trust me, you probably only have 1 or 2 products that you're going to be selling on your website when you're first starting. So you don't need a complex theme to only sell one item. You just need one simple page website. Also, to make sure to go to your Shopify settings and secure your domain for your clothing brand as well. Try your hardest to get a .com domain for your brand, but .store or .shop is also good as well. The domain price will be about $15 a year, which is just a little bit over $1 a month, so that's not going to be too expensive for you as well. It's definitely worth getting because you don't want to have your website saying your brand name .myshopify.store. That's going to look very unprofessional, and I honestly wouldn't buy anything from a website with that name. Also, while we on the topic, make sure you got your social media handles for your brand secured as well. Make sure you get the Instagram page made, TikTok page, Reddit, Twitter, everything. Get all that stuff made right now. Even if you feel like you're not going to be using it right now, just go get it before somebody else hurry up and snatch it up. Now, another extremely common question I get from new clothing brand owners is how much they should actually price the product they're selling for. Well, the main thing you want to do is know your numbers. You want to know the exact cost of goods for your item, including shipping, product price, and any other factors that may get into that as well. Another thing to look at is check the market, see what other people are selling that product for as well. Let's say you're selling a rhinestone hoodie, somebody else is selling a rhinestone hoodie for $70, and you can probably price yours for $65 to $70 as well. But the main downside with this is that you don't know the exact price that they're getting their piece for, because they could be getting it for a way lower price than you because they're ordering way more. The best thing to do is just to know all your numbers, and I'll say at minimum, the absolute minimum that you need to be selling your products for is a 2.5x markup. For example, if I'm getting my hoodies in for, let's say, $25 per piece after shipping and everything, at minimum I have to sell that hoodie for $62. But there's a lot of factors that goes into that, as mentioned before, because I'm trying to have a more premium brand and get that higher quality audience. I'll probably sell that hoodie for $80 to $100 instead of $62. But you have to also keep in mind the future of your brand is going to be adding on employees. You're going to start scaling with ads. Then you want to have a nice little margin to work with. That's why I like to say 2.5x for the absolute minimum. You could go lower, but I personally would not advise that. Now let's talk about what everybody loves the most, and that's paid marketing. Now we all know about organic marketing already, so I'm not gonna get too much into that. I'll touch up on it a little bit though at this part. Just make sure you post it consistently, make sure you're checking the trends, and make sure your product is unique. That's really all organic marketing is, and you gotta hope the algorithm pushes you out at that point. Now for paid marketing, I love paid marketing because I feel like the ball is in my hands and I can really take control of my brand and really put money behind my ideas that I know are going to work. Now your main tool when doing research for paid marketing is going to be the Facebook ads library. Go into there, put in brands similar to yours and see what kind of ads that they've been running for the longest amount of time. Because trust me, if they've been running that ad for a long time, it's absolutely printing money for them, because you're not going to keep throwing money into an ad if it's not making you anything back. Now don't replicate this ad one-to-one. You just want to take the best parts of that ad, find ways to implement it into your brand and make it fit your target audience perfectly. Now this is not going to guarantee you that you have a winning ad, but it's going to get you a much higher chance of finding a winning ad than just throwing darts at a wall. Now that market research you did back in step 2 is going to be vital here, because you need to know the exact tone and slang to use when speaking in your ads and trying to get to your target audience. You need to know the exact type of background music to use and the exact pain points that audience appeals to. Because if you can find a way to trigger an audience's emotions, they have a much higher chance of purchasing from you, especially with an impulse buy such as clothing. Now, if you want to go deeper into exactly how to create the top winning ads, I have a couple videos on that as well, but I suggest you complete this video all the way first. Now, once you have your ads created, that's really the hard part. Actually putting them into the Facebook Ads Manager isn't hard. You just need to make you a Facebook account, connect it to your brand page, go into the Facebook Ads Manager and leave everything broad and start out at a low budget at around $50 per day. Now, if you don't feel comfortable spending $50 per day yet, you're not ready to run paid ads, just keep marketing organically until you can get to that point you're getting consistent sales with your clothing brand. Because I always preach, paid ads is not going to save your business. If nobody wants to buy it, they're not going to buy it just because you spend the money to show it to them. But what paid ads do is amplify an already good business to that next level, and it's going to be vital if you want to grow at the quickest rate possible and you're already getting sales with your brand. So back to what I said, you want to have it at around $50 per day to start, and you want to leave just everything broad and insert your best creatives into a CBO campaign on Facebook. It's literally that simple. You don't got to do all those crazy strategies that they're trying to teach you, all these bid caps, cost caps. You don't even need to know what that means. All you need to know, leave everything broad, do a CBO, put Put your best creatives in there. Try images, try videos, try UGC, try influencers. Try any type of different style that you can use to see which one is printing the most amount of money for you. And when analyzing your metrics, click-through rate doesn't matter. Cost per click doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is how much money is being put onto that ad and also the CPA of that ad. And just to keep things simple, because this is not an exact number, there are a lot of outside factors that also tie into this, but your target CPA should be about a third of your average order value. So let's say my average order value is $30. My target CPA on the Facebook Ads Manager should be about $10. And if you don't know what CPA is, that is your cost per acquisition. So that's how much you're paying to acquire a customer and get them into your brand. And the reason why the amount of money being spent is so important, because let's say you're spending $50 per day on that ad, you have 5 different ads in there. If $45 is all going to one certain video or one certain image, that's letting you know that's the image or video that appeals best to your audience, and you should make more like that. The algorithm knows best. Don't try to outsmart the algorithm and put all the money or try to force all the money to an ad that you feel like should work best. Just let the Facebook machine learning work for you, because those computers are a lot smarter than me and you. And the main thing with ads is being patient. Give Facebook time to learn more about your target audience, learn what type of people like your brand the most, and really just figure your account out and get used to you spending money on there. Me personally, I don't like to run multiple platforms until you master one. Once you get one platform down, then you can start putting energy towards others, but you don't want to spread yourself too thin, try to market on everything with paid ads all at once, because each of these things are going to take a decent amount of time from you, especially when you're first starting out. You don't have the resources to hire people and have them run certain platforms for you themselves. And I always recommend people to start with Facebook ads because it's the most consistent platform, it's easier to use, and it gets you a higher quality customer audience. Don't get me wrong, I do love TikTok because TikTok ads is what actually took my brand off when I first started, but I don't run them as much now just because the audience quality on there is extremely low, the repeat customer rate is extremely low, and a lot of them is just little kids on there using their mom's credit cards who gonna charge back on you in the future, even though they already got their product. And make sure your quality on these videos and images are perfect, bro. Don't just go out here taking pictures on a dirty carpet, taking pictures on a dirty floor of your product. Make sure you got some clean, clear-cut product shots. I have some examples shown in this video as well of some good product images. And make sure your videos are high quality as well. Make sure the audio sounds good. It's not all muffled. Make sure your tone is appropriate and you're not just talking crazy on the video, bro. Make sure it sounds like something that is actually legit and people will actually want to buy from when you watch it over. A good standpoint is really just yourself. If you were scrolling and you seen your ad on there, would you buy that? Would you actually buy that? Does that look like a legit brand? Because I use that analogy for a lot of my ads and that saved me a ton of time. Now let's talk about a strategy for when you're doing your first product drop for your clothing brand. Now when I did my first drop, I did not set a drop date in advance. How I did it was, I'm gonna just market. I'll market forever if I have to until I see my brand is starting to get traction. Then I'll set a launch date after that. For me, it ended up working out great because we got traction around a week after we started marketing. And so I was able to launch about 2 weeks after I got my initial samples in. I honestly wouldn't advise anybody to do a product launch until they can get around 500 to 1,000 people signed up to their SMS list. And if you don't know what an SMS list is, that's basically like a text list that you can use to notify people when you release. You probably get texts all the time from other clothing brands, especially Fashion Nova. They're most notable for it because they usually blow people following up about 3 times a day. Don't do it that much. We only use SMS blasts on our product launches, and that's the best way to do it. Now, if you feel like your videos aren't popping off, it's taking you forever to get 500 to 1,000 people on your SMS list, then you probably just need to switch up the product and try something different. Now, you're gonna get these people on your SMS list by having your website closed. At the end of each video, direct them to your website and let them know they can sign up to get early access to your next drop. Your early access should have some type of incentive, so your product has to either be limited or you have to add in some type of sale or discount they get if they're one of the first few people to order. Because we don't have any type of incentive, they're not gonna care about getting early access if they can just buy it at any time like anybody else, and it's not gonna sell out. It's gonna be on the site forever. You wanna also make sure you capture emails as well, because although they may not have the same high conversion rate as SMS does, emails can be sent out more frequently to people. Like I can send out 3 emails a week if I wanted to. You cannot send out 3 SMS a week. Your unsubscribe rates are gonna be crazy. And really, it's just giving you another platform to get your brand in more people's faces. They might ignore your texts automatically, but then they're scrolling through their email in the morning and they see your brand has a new release coming coming up and now they're notified of it. They're checking your Instagram and getting more updates there as well. Speaking of Instagram, we usually like to post 3 times leading up to the drop day. We'll post about a week and a half in advance to start on Instagram. Then we'll post again an exact week before the drop, and then we'll post again on drop day. With Instagram, you don't got to do too much when posting your main 3 drop posts. That's usually just going to be your product images and your model images. But what I also like to do is in between those posts, take my best performing TikToks, whether that's from an influencer or myself, and post those in my Reels category only. Now, when posting a reel on Instagram, you can have it not show up on your profile and it'll only show up on the Reels section on your page. And that's a good way to get a lot of traction because Reels have been popping off crazy for people lately. Now, if it's your first ever drop, I personally will only have the site open for a week, possibly 2 weeks at the max. So then you're not just overwhelming yourself and you're not pushing back people's orders too much. Now, what I'm going to mention here is called the pre-order method. You're going to take all your orders that you just acquired over those 1 to 2 weeks, send all the size and details to your manufacturer, and they're gonna start producing it. Make sure you have on your site that it's a pre-order, and it's gonna have that estimated turnaround time that you asked your manufacturer for when you first contacted them. And when putting in your estimated turnaround time on your website, also add an additional week or 2 just to be safe. So let's say your manufacturer says it's gonna take about 3 weeks for your product to get to you. You wanna put on your website, it's gonna take around 3 to 5 weeks or 3 to 6 weeks for them to get their product. Just make sure to be extremely transparent with your customers, update them every day on social media, update them weekly through emails, and just let them know the status of their order, because most people don't mind waiting. They just don't like waiting and not getting any type of notifications about where their order actually is. And I wouldn't advise doing pre-orders for too long. After your first few successful drops, you should be looking to go pre-made as soon as possible, because that's going to give you the best longevity for your brand and the most returning customers. And in the clothing brand space, returning customers is everything. You don't want to always be having to acquire new customers, and you don't want to have a bad reputation for your brand as well and get known for having slow shipping times. So once you close your site after that 1 to 2 weeks of pre-orders and you get everything sent over to the manufacturer, your main goal is just focused on updating customers and preparing for your next release. Keep in mind, it's going to be the first ever people who ever shopped with your brand. So don't be lazy with responding to emails, responding to DMs, responding to comments. Everybody should get a response. These are the people who are believing in your vision before anybody else. So these should be your main priority in your life at this moment. This should come before school, before work, before anything. Make sure your customers getting a response if you really care about your dream, because they trust in you. Another great part about treating your customers great, especially that first set, is you can start collecting a lot of UGC content from them, which is user generated content. Have them leave reviews on the products, ask them to create videos for you, create little review videos, take pictures in it. So then you can now put this on your website and on your Instagram to show more proof that you're a legit brand with good reviews and a good standing. And trust me, those legit ads with people actually reviewing your clothing brand in real time, giving honest opinions, absolutely print money. So you're gonna make a ton out of just treating your customers how they're supposed to be treated. It's honestly a win-win for both sides. I don't get why clothing brand owners feel the need to ignore the people that support them. Let's end that trend now and start treating our customers like we care about them. Now let's start talking about the next steps, which is scaling your clothing brand once you already have some success. This is about when you get to that 10 to 20 to 30K month range and you're ready to start hitting 6-figure months with your clothing brand. Start dumping more money into ads and influencers and really taking them to the next level. Find which ads are performing best for you, make way more of those, and put more money into it. That's really what scaling is, putting more money and doubling down on what's already working. You also need to be looking at outsourcing all those little tedious tasks that don't directly make you money for your business. These are things such as shipping out orders and responding to customers. You can hire a little VA from either Fiverr or from online jobs that PH for only $5 an hour, and they'll answer all your emails and DMs. As far as shipping goes, you can either start working with a 3PL if you feel like that's necessary, or you can just start hiring friends to help you out, which is what I would do. Start making sure all your back end is in place. At this stage, this is when I would hire somebody to really go over my website and kind of upgrade it to that next level. I hire somebody to go through my emails, my SMS, set up my flows, make sure all those are on point as well. At first, you want to do all that yourself just because you're low on money and you don't really know if the brand is working. But once you have that proven brand and you know people really are supporting you, then you want to start investing heavy money into it and stop being cheap. And that's everything you need to know in order to start your clothing brand in 2024. And trust me, I wish I could include every little detail, but then this video will end up being like 20 hours long or something. And also, every brand is different and some things you need to speak directly to me to learn about. So if you're very serious about your brand and getting into that next level and you don't work directly with me and my 7-figure team, click that first link in my description and join our group mentorship. In this mentorship, you'll be able to ask us any questions that you have any time of the day. And you'll also be able to have access to weekly calls where we'll be doing any type of Q&As, and we'll be auditing any type of advertisements you have or designs for your brand as well. It's definitely a steal and something I wish I had when I first started my brand out as well. So hurry up and join before all the spots fill up, and I'll see you in the next video.